Hi guys, welcome back to Force Multiplier here. It's your man Paul here. Hope you're all keeping well. Time to really discuss day five. Yes, day five. Nearly there. Last video in terms of sort of the Super Bowl preview week. We're going to knock on and discuss the defense and my predictions for the game, the big game on Sunday. So we're going to tackle first of all, we've got the Spagnuolo on this front versus Fangio. We've got Jones versus Carter. So let's really get straight into it, guys. It's going to be an absolute doozy. Two great defenses. So let's tackle Philadelphia. First, Fangio done an amazing job with the team this year. Really turned it around from sort of the collapse of last year's sort of second half, and even at 2-2 this year, I didn't necessarily see where they are now, and they have just got better and better and better as the season's just got on, and they got more and more sort of confidence that they've just been superb on defense. I will say they have a habit of playing a little bit too much prevent sometimes when they get in front. Especially when they're like maybe 10, 14 hunt, they tend to go into a bit of a prevent and invite teams in. So if there is a fault, there is that strategy sometimes of sitting back a little bit and almost giving up yards. And it's a weird scenario sometimes you see in the NFL where some coaches just go into that prevent defense, and I've yet to see how it ever works. Frankly, I mean, almost 9 times out of 10, the minute you sit back, people just pick up easy yards and go and get points. I don't know whether they're just trying to give up free, but most of the time teams will pick you apart on a prevent defense. So I don't think you want to have any part of a prevent defense with Patrick Mahomes going on. Prevent defense with Patrick Mahomes is just an easy route for Kelsey under the middle to just basically hoover up yards. And I know that to really be putting prevent out there, then that would mean Eagles are doing really well and then sort of 10-14 clear. But I think it's foot to the pedal, max out against Mahomes. You don't really want to be playing the prevent unless you're miles clear. And you're just trying to, sort of kill the clock, because Kansas City can score in a heartbeat in terms of time. And so prevent isn't going to achieve anything bar them getting more points in the board quickly. They'll go straight up that field in about less than 40 seconds to a minute on your prevent. So I think Philadelphia, in terms of their defense, look, great stopping the run. I don't think the secondary is quite as good as the hype. I think the defense is great on the run, superb. I think you can get out Philadelphia's secondary personally, but then I think that's the same on both sides. So yeah, I think you can definitely get at Philadelphia's secondary, but equally you've got to be able to be in the pocket long enough, and really stand up long enough. Can the offensive line of Kansas City's hold up against the pressure of Philadelphia's defense? That'll be a big matchup in this game. Like, it's all well and good looking at Mahomes and the skill players, but equally, Kansas City's offensive line is going to be huge for any chance that they run having any impact on this game with Checo and Hunt and Mahomes is running and his passing ability. Because at the end of the day, he's going to have enough time just for players to get open. Even if you're throwing short, let alone the longer plays. So I think it will be a huge matchup. Whoever wins that could potentially win the Super Bowl. Essentially, the matchup between the defense of Philadelphia and Kansas City's offensive line. So yeah, I think that to me circled as probably the biggest matchup of almost the entire game, because I think Mahomes is going to perform. Kelsey can catch. If he's double teamed, it's going to be very hard for him to get opportunities. But somebody else will, whether it's Worthy, whether it's Hopkins, whether it's Juju, whether it's Hollywood Brown, whether it's Noah Gray, for example. There'll always be somebody available if you're going to double team Kelsey. So you pick your poison as to what how you want to sort of give up specific yards. But I think ultimately the truth is that the more pressure you can get on that offensive line, which I think is still, even though it's much better, it's still weakness for Kansas City. You can get hurry Mahomes potentially get a few sacks on Mahomes, then you really can get Kansas City up against the eight ball. If Kansas City's offensive line holds up, then invariably you give the master a chance to pretty much work his magic with his wand, isn't it? In this game, and then a decent offensive line enables Pacheco and Hunt to really kick in, which enables it opens up the entire playbook, doesn't it, for Kansas City's offense? If that tends to lose the battle against Philly's defensive front, then it could be a long day, on that front because it's going to be hard if you can't get the run going. I think Kansas City really do need a big performance from a Hunt and from, I would say, Pacheco, the Pacheco of last year pre-injury, which he got at the start of this season. Pacheco of that form would be a big, big player in this game. I rate Pacheco highly, but he's not been at that level. He's lacked the sort of sharpness since he's come back. Fully understand. There's no slight on him. He's obviously come back from a big injury. But I think the running game, it won't get much focus, but it equally opens up the passing game for Kansas City. If Kansas City can get them established to run against Philadelphia's defense and Fangio's defense, then you are going to be opening up the pass for easy passes to Kelsey. Can hold the ball longer, which enables players like Worthy and Hollywood Brown and Hopkins to come more into the equation. On that side, and I think with Noah Gray, I think you've got a really great sort of tandem with Kelsey, on that front. So look out on that side. So yeah, I think it's a big, big, big battle. That front, that's probably for me the biggest battle of the day. I know you're head to heads, but it's going to be that defense, most vaunted defense of Phillies, really going up against Mahomes and really getting pressure to him, and really affecting the run and the amount of time that he has. I think you can make hay a little bit more than what's probably mentioned on the Philly secondary. I think it's good. Plenty of secondaries that are pretty average. I think Philly's got a good secondary, but I think you can definitely make some hay in it. Obviously you're looking for performances from Carter. I do believe he may have had an illness at the moment, but I would assume he's going to be okay for Sunday. But yeah, I think he may have a slight illness at the moment, and just what I've read. So I'm not no inside information on that front. On to the other side, flip it over to Steve Spagnuolo and Kansas City. Look, ultimately with Chris Jones, and the defense that they have, I think Kansas City are very good at stopping the run. I don't think they're phenomenal. I thought the running back, is it Cook? Was it Cook for Buffalo? But I thought he did well. I thought they sort of weirdly pulled him out of the game. I'm not sure if it's down to injury or I think it was an odd one in that game. I thought Cook was making some pretty good headway. It was getting better as the game went on, and then they suddenly seemed to sort of veer off track. I'm not sure really why. That was a bit bizarre. I always thought as a running back, he's one of the best in the league, and I thought he did pretty well up against Kansas City, to be honest. And yeah, some of those sort of 4-from-1s, I definitely think they made a mistake by not at least giving him a couple of goes. I thought, was it 4 of them, and he didn't get one of them? That's a bit nuts for me. Look, everyone's going to have all eyes on Barkley. Look, you've got the Barkley and Hurts effect on the run. If you're all eyes on Barkley, then you can very much see Hurts sort of sneaking out the side door for some runs, a bit like Patrick Mahomes can do, on his side as well. So it's like, well, at the end of the day, both quarterbacks can almost do the same thing in terms of the running game. The one thing, obviously, Philadelphia have is that they have a running back that's obviously been the best in the league this year, along with Derrick Henry. And whilst I love Pacheco, he's not as sharp and not at that level, at the moment either. And so you obviously a massive advantage to the Eagles on that side. You couple that with Hurst's running ability, that of course is going to give him a big edge over Mahomes and Pacheco, and Hunt, a different type. But I think they can get good performances for them. I'm not sure they can get to the same levels Stating the obvious, it's Barkley, but don't be surprised if Pacheco has a great game. I think people are sort of sleeping on that one potentially. I think that could be a big moment on the Kansas City side, the performance of Pacheco, the running game. Because ultimately, the running, if Kansas City can establish a running game, that'll open up everything, for the rest of it, as a team. But anyway, back to Kansas City's defense. Look, they tend to dial up, obviously, the blitzes. Old Spagnuolo loves a blitz, doesn't he? Um, look, I think that without a doubt, Hurts keeps hold of the ball sometimes way too long. There is a running theme on that. If there is a fault, he does hold on to it too long. Whether that's because he's waiting for the play to develop, whether that's a bit of hesitation, whether that's hold a bit too long, see if something opens up, and then I'm just going to run, or I don't know. But he does sometimes hold the ball way too long when he could have thrown the ball away, and he's given up. Sometimes I feel he gives up sacks that shouldn't have even happened, and that's not. I'm not trying to sort of dig him out on that front. I'm just saying that I do feel that that on the Kansas City side is an area where they can win the game. So as I said, on the other side for Philly against the offensive line for Kansas City, I do feel that look, you can get at Hurts. There could be quite a few sacks on this side, and ultimately they are hard to get out, dig yourself out of a hole on. I mean, Barkley can be amazing, but you don't want to be on 2nd and 15 or 3rd and 20 too often, and I do feel that. Because then ultimately, look, you're not going to give it to Barkley on 2nd and 15. You're probably going to throw it. You may choose to. I mean, look, they're going to start off with Barkley, of course they are. But equally, you don't want to see Hurts. If you're an Eagles fan, you don't want to be seeing Hurts give up too many sacks in this game. He needs to learn to throw the ball away. I know it's all well and good keeping hold of it to feel that you can scramble away, but sometimes in these sort of moments is that look, 2, 3, 4 sacks in the game can be as brutal as an interception or two at the end of the day, and because it ruins the drive, and it's just it's going to be a game of possessions, and Philadelphia don't need to be giving Kansas City an extra 2 or 3 possessions because Spagnuolo have to dial up the blitzes, and essentially I do feel that's an area that could. Well, I know I'm not rewriting the well, but I do feel that is the matchup on the Kansas City side. Spagnuolo's blitzes against, Philadelphia. Yeah, Philadelphia have a good offensive line. Yes, they do, but Hurts also gets sacked quite a lot as well. And he keeps hold of. I didn't. So this is the thing: is that do you say that he gets sacked a lot because it was the offensive line's fault? Well, I don't think that's right because a lot of the success of what they've had is down to their offensive line. I think one of the reasons he gets sacked a lot is purely because he just keeps it 3 or 4 seconds too long. He could have got rid of it way quicker for me. So yeah, guys, it'd be great to hear your thoughts, on the defensive side. Look, of course, you've got the mastermind, Spagnuolo, and we shall see how great. Look, ultimately, the biggest matchup, the biggest game is where you really prove how great you are. I think you can score points for both defenses. There is holes. I don't think Kansas City's defense is phenomenal against the run. That's not great when you're going up against a tag team with, obviously Barkley, and Hurts. I do think Kansas City secondary is okay. I do think they're amazing blitzing. So it's a bit of a weird conundrum, isn't it? I mean, Kansas City are great at putting the pressure on them, and they're great in big moments on defense. So I'd say Kansas City's defense, great in big moments, great in blitzes, great for sacks, good for creating fumbles. I would see that their weakness is potentially you can run on them, which is obviously could be huge in this game. And I think secondary is okay. It's not awful. It is sort of okay. So I think AJ Brown would fancy himself, a good chunk or two. And on the other side, I feel like, as I've already highlighted, I do feel that you can get at Philly secondary more than more than the run. I don't, like as I say, if Kansas City get make hay on the run game, then all bets are off. Kansas City should win this. If Kansas City have even a half, it's not a case of beating Philadelphia on the run game. It's just a case of if Kansas City even have a half decent run game in this game, then they're going to win. That's my personal viewpoint. I think if you shut Kansas City's run game not completely down, but just down to an average performance, then you're really putting a huge strain on the passing game. And everything becomes very sort of congested. People are coming up in the box. There's no gaps. So I think, yeah, the running game is, it's weird because all the focus is obviously on, is on Philadelphia because everyone's suspecting the light show, the magic, from Barkley, and you may well get that. But equally, I think that just an above average performance from the run game, for Kansas City, which is all three of them, Mahomes, Hunt, and they really need some of the magic from Pacheco in this game because Pacheco carries the burst. He carries that speed. He can break free for chunky yards. That is just an absolute game changer. I would argue that, when you're looking at these teams, look at Pacheco's of the world. You're looking at sort of Dallas Goddard's of the world. You're looking at not always all right. You've got the superstars of Kelsey and AJ Brown, and Saquon Barkley, but it could well be, the speed of Worthy. It could be Pacheco. It could be another Gray that was the one that gets the touchdowns because Kelsey's just marked out of it. Look, with the superstar players, it's never because of ability. It's never because a lack of want. Sometimes in the best games, if you're going to man mark the incredible talents out of the game, which it makes it incredibly hard for them to produce when they're literally got people glued or multiple people glued over the top of it. But yeah, great to hear your thoughts, guys. That's me on the defense. We've got the mastermind of Spagnuolo. We got the supreme sort of future Hall of Fame in Chris Jones. We got the phenomenal talent of Carter. Great season, obviously by Fangio as well. Let's see how it pans out. That is it for me. My prediction for the Super Bowl this Sunday. I'm going to go with a Kansas City win. And I'm ducking now. If anyone from Philadelphia is literally throwing something out the field, I'm a Bears fan, so no bias, just an opinion. I'm going to go with a Kansas City which just edge this. Let's go with 31-28. I'm going to go 31-28 on this game. So we shall see. Kansas City have never had great first half, so you don't want that to be the time that it starts now. If you're in the case of Philadelphia, and in Philadelphia's case, just want to run. They want to run, literally like Forrest Gump. That's how much they want to run in this game. And look, the more they're running, we'll have more control of the game. And if they're running throughout the game, as how they want, then it means they're in good shape. It's pretty obvious, isn't it, on that? And I think if Travis Kelce's having a great game, for Kansas City, then they're probably doing well. On this one because it means he would have opened up, and I got a feeling if he's doing well, and their running game would have been doing well as well. So let's see how it pans out, guys. Great to hear your thoughts. Let me know how you think of what players to sort of look out for on the defense. What you're looking forward to. Let's all enjoy a superb Super Bowl. You enjoy New Orleans. Speak to you soon. Take care.